Welcome, everyone. My name is Tor Legend. Thank you so much for joining us in our 11th episode of the SAP Garage series. Today's mission will be use SAP Fiori custom code migration app to analyze your ABAP custom code for SAP S/4HANA readiness. You can find the mission in the Discovery Center, so we will provide this to you guys right after the call. I'd like to introduce our colleague Olga Dolnskaya, product manager and ABAP platform at SAP SE. She'll be presenting the mission today. Before we get started, I want to let you guys know of some of the other forums that we've got going with regards to the practitioners forum. If you're interested in joining any of these, please do reach out to me. Also, we have two on-site events, hands-on events for DataSphere partner workshop for those on the call who are partners and would like to join us in Roth and in London on November 30th, December 1st, December 11th and 12th. I'll put the links in the chat as we move forward. Also, we have several upcoming webinars that we are currently planning on November the 14th with Sierra Digital. We have a session, SAP Migration Journey of SAP BW to DataSphere Readiness Assessment Methodology, Tools, and Strategy. On November the 15th, we have our final episode with our partner Crave Infotech, Mobile Solutions for SAP EWM, Enhancing Warehouse Operations for RFEWM. Also, some of the other sessions that we have around the industries for consumer products management, also telco, telecommunications, and media. We have a session around cloud platform integration suite to extract Ariba. Anyway, I'm going to be putting all of these links in the chat for if you guys are interested in joining us in any one of these. Our next session will be on December the 6th, just to let you guys know. But before, I also wanted to let you guys know of the year-end survey. So we have 20 ebooks to give away. If you want to quickly scan this QR code, we'll be keeping the survey open till the end of the month. So for the first 20 people who complete the survey, we will be sending them the digital process automation with SAP workflow management. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Olga. Olga?
Thank you very much, Toros. Let me share my screen. So, do you see my screen now?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you so much. And very warm welcome also from my side to today's session of SAP Garage series about how to use custom code migration app to analyze your custom code for SAP S/4HANA, how to use the corresponding Discovery Center mission in order to execute custom code analysis process step by step. So I will start with this presentation and make you familiar with the custom code migration app and its analysis capabilities, and then we will turn our attention to the actual mission of the SAP Discovery Center, and we'll go through the steps that the mission provides, and also I will show you the live demos. Okay, just a short look at the agenda. First, we will take a look at the custom code migration app, what is it all about, how it looks like. Then which capabilities we have in place to automatically adapt your code for SAP S/4HANA, and finally how to get started with the Discovery Center mission. So the custom code migration app is fully based on the remote ABAP test cockpit infrastructure, and the app is available on the SAP Business Technology platform within ABAP environment. And the app supports different analysis use cases. You can use the app to analyze your custom code for SAP S/4HANA. You can analyze your custom code for migration to SAP Business Technology platform, for ABAP Cloud. Also, classic ABAP test cockpit analysis use cases are supported. The app is capable to consider the collected usage data. So if you collect the usage data for your code, upload it to the app, then the app will define initial scope of the custom code for migration based on this usage data. Beyond that, the app offers different capabilities, like, for example, there is dedicated dashboards where you can just identify the complex custom code developments, which are pretty difficult to maintain, pretty difficult to adapt each time, and therefore these complex developments would be good candidates maybe for redesign instead of adaptation during S/4HANA system conversion. Also, the app provides information which findings and issues in your custom code can be adapted using the quick fixes in ABAP development tools in Eclipse. This is automated adaptation capability, which we offer in Eclipse. And as I already said, the app is available on SAP Business Technology platform and ABAP environment. And you can, of course, use the app also on premise within SAP S/4HANA system. But on SAP BTP ABAP environment, you have the advantage that you are always provided with the newest features of the app, and you have the automatic setup and configuration of the app, including the connectivity to the on-premise system. The app comes along with the two main features, scoping and analysis. During scoping, you can identify which custom code is suitable for migration, also based on usage data, of course. And during analysis, you analyze your custom code for different use cases, in this case for S/4HANA readiness. As I already said, the custom code migration app supports different use cases. You can analyze this code for S/4HANA during system conversion, for the migration to business technology platform, and we also support the use case of cloud ATC. So if you are aware about central ABAP test cockpit system, which you can set up on premise for the analysis of your on-premise landscape, we offer also the corresponding counterpart as cloud ATC, based also on the custom code migration app, where you can execute remote ATC runs from the app for your on-premise systems. And a new use case which we also currently support with the app is the migration of the code for ABAP Cloud. So you can analyze your code for ABAP Cloud readiness, with help of the so-called cloudification repository, which provides information about the released successor APIs and object if you want to develop clean core ready, if you want to adapt your code for clean core for usage in S/4HANA Public Cloud Edition or for S/4HANA Private Cloud, but with a clean core aspect. Then this ABAP Cloud migration would be certainly a valid use case for you as well. So as I already mentioned, the app comes along with two main features, scoping and analysis. During scoping, you decide which amount of your custom code you would like to take over to S/4HANA. And it is so that our statistics show that in the last 20 years, the custom code which is really productively used in custom landscape is the amount of this custom code is pretty small. So the customers usually use about 40 to 60% of the whole custom code productively, and the remaining part is not used. And therefore, you can imagine if you just take over the whole custom code and adapt it for S/4HANA, you will end up with a huge effort of adaptation. Therefore, the suggestion is to collect usage data for your custom code, and the recommendation is at least 1 year before actual S/4HANA conversion project start to collect usage data, and including, of course, year closing as well. And you can do it either directly on the ERP system using ABAP Call Monitor, and for the aggregation of the usage data, you can use SUCG transaction, or you can collect usage data also in the classic way with Solution Manager, and then it will be also possible to upload such usage data to the custom code migration app to define initial scope for migration. Of course, anytime you can adjust scope as needed, manually add the objects to the scope or remove the objects from the scope. And finally, you would create the deletion transport on request on your ERP system. And after that, you can decide either you can remove it, unused code from the system during system conversion, or you can keep it on the system, convert the system to SAP S/4HANA, and outsource this unused code using JCTS. If you connect your new S/4HANA converted system to JCTS, outsource it to the to the external Git repository for backup purposes. So if you think that probably later on, at some point of time, you will need this custom code, then you can leverage this backup capability. Custom code migration app provides you with different dashboards which support different use cases. Like, for example, you can spot the complex custom code developments in your code and evaluate if probably these complex developments are not so relevant anymore. Probably the functionality which was implemented there is already available in S/4HANA standard, or maybe you can evaluate partner solution or different modern extensibility options like key user extensibility or side-by-side extensibility. And therefore, there is so-called complexity dashboard, which allows you to spot these complex custom code developments. On the x-axis, you will get the complexity of the custom code presented as a Halstead metric from the metric which is well known as the statistics, which shows how difficult it is to understand the program if the changes must be applied to this program. And on the y-axis, you get the number of changes in the custom code. So we have found out that actually, based on our experience, the complex custom code developments are also very frequently changed. And therefore, if you just set up such a diagram with these 2 dimensions, then in the classic ERP system, you will get the top complex developments just placed along this diagonal, and you can focus your evaluation on the parts which are in the right upper corner and take a look at this, closer look at these developments. Maybe they can be used for redesign. The other main feature of the app is analysis. The app is capable to execute in case of S/4HANA conversion, S/4HANA readiness checks of your on your custom code, and then you have the analysis results presented in the table, and then you have also different graphical capabilities in place which you can use to filter your analysis results, to focus on special aspects, like, for example, which findings can be fixed using automated quick fixes, and so on. You can navigate to details of the analysis results, and of course, you can anytime download the analysis results as well as Excel file or in the format which is suitable for upload to SAP readiness check. If we summarize which custom code analysis options are available, you can still use remote ABAP test cockpit within SAP GUI based on SAP Basis Release 752. But in this case, you can execute S/4HANA readiness checks over your custom code, but you will not get information about which issues can be fixed automatically using the quick fixes, and you will not be able to upload the usage data or create deletion transport for your custom code. These all deficiencies are not there in place if you use the custom code migration app. And as I already said, we propose to use the custom code migration app on the SAP Business Technology platform. There, the app is running within SAP BTP ABAP environment. The app is available for free. And the app connects via RFC and SAP Cloud Connector to your on-premise system for analysis purposes and can be set up automatically using cloud integration automation service. And the app will be updated on quarterly basis. You get access to the newest features. You don't need to maintain additional system. You just get it from the SAP BTP. And after you converted your system to the S/4HANA, there is also small help for you how to adapt your custom code for S/4HANA readiness. The tool of choice for the adaptation is ABAP Development Tools in Eclipse. And we offer the quick fixes for the most prominent simplification use cases. You can expect up to 60% automation rate if you use the quick fixes for S/4HANA for such typical use cases like, for example, missing order by in selects, or different conflicts in custom code developments with the new material number and amount field length extension of the S/4HANA, or different conflicts with the data model changes in S/4HANA tables, and so on. And you can apply single quick fixes, or you can also use the mass-enabled quick fixes to adapt the whole work packages at one shot. How you get started with the custom code migration app, we recommend to use the SAP Discovery Center mission about the custom code migration app, where the app is set up and running in the SAP BTP ABAP environment, and you will get the automated setup using the cloud integration automation service, and the mission offers you step-by-step guided custom code analysis. This is what we now will take a look at, and more information about all the capabilities of the custom code analysis for S/4HANA and to any single aspects you can take from the ABAP testing and analysis community. And now I will just switch to the Discovery Center, and we will take a look at the mission. So, in the Discovery Center, you will start with the overview. This is the overview page about the mission, about the custom code migration app. You see here the same picture of the app, custom code migration app, which is running on BTP within SAP BTP ABAP environment and connects via Cloud Connector and RFC to your on-premise system for analysis. Here you have the project board where you have different steps which you need to go through to execute custom code analysis for S/4HANA. And here on the resources section, you have additional resources where you can have access to different blogs about custom code migration app, about cloud integration automation, service workflow, about how to collect the usage data and aggregate them on the ERP system, and so on. So let's go to the project board. It starts with the certain prerequisites. First, you are expected to learn the basic. For this purpose, there is a blog about custom code analysis with custom code migration app, and there is also the recording of the corresponding SAP ticket lecture, which is recommended to take a look at. After the prerequisites, so here's of course further information available. The good thing is that the app is capable to consider the collected usage data. And therefore, if you have usage data, it's recommended to collect it and upload it to the app. Therefore, here this column represents these optional steps where you can, the prerequisites is of course that you collected usage data using, for example, ABAP call monitor. And in the second step, you need to transfer your collected usage data from the productive to development system, which you will then analyze for S/4HANA readiness. And how to do it? Here, for example, I have access to the productive system, and if I collect the usage data using ABAP call monitor and SUCG transaction. And here, if you go to the SUCG transaction, then you see that the collection is running, usage data collection is running, aggregation is also turned on, and anytime you can just press this button, create snapshot, and the current usage data, the snapshot with the current usage data gets created. And here under manage snapshots, you have the possibility to download this snapshot with collected usage data to the file. And you will do it on the productive system, certainly. And then if you turn over to the development system, you would then upload this usage data from the file here to the development system for the analysis purposes. So this is actually what is described here in the transfer usage data part of the mission. After you have transferred usage data, it's time to set up the custom code migration app. For that purpose, the Cloud Integration Automation Service is used. If you just go to this card here, you will see that you need to fulfill certain prerequisites for Cloud Integration Automation Service. You need to subscribe also to this service on BTP. The service is available for free, and you need to define some roles to the users. And after you have done this, you can start, for example, here over the link the maintenance planner, and in the maintenance planner you will get access to the CS. So here in the maintenance planner you can navigate directly through the link from the mission to the maintenance planner, where the dedicated workflow for setting up the custom code migration app can be started. Also here under ABAP environment, you will be navigated to this part here, configure the ABAP environment to use the custom code migration app, and you will just directly deep dive to the creation of the workflow with the Cloud Integration Automation Service. The Cloud Integration Automation Service will set up automatically SAP BTP ABAP environment and will set up the on-premise connectivity to the on-premise system and will install all the necessary SAP nodes in order to on the on-premise system in order to execute the custom code analysis. And finally, the custom code migration app will be also set up. After executing these steps here from this column, you are ready to go with the custom code migration app, and you can just go to the app, to the Fiori Launchpad, and there the app will be available. So under the custom code analysis section, you can start the app just by clicking on the custom code migration tile here. And for the analysis, just let's take a look back again on the Discovery Center mission here. You see the section perform custom code analysis. What we will do there, we will set up the custom code migration app. We will execute S/4HANA checks over the custom code in the ERP system and use different filters, analyze details of the finding, and finally download the analysis results. This is what I would like to demonstrate now. You create the custom code migration project by clicking the Create button, S/4HANA Migration Project. And here you will just need to put the name of the project under the project description and target release, so S/4HANA release where you would like to go to, and the transition scenario. So we support actually both system conversion and also new implementation for the case that you would like to collect some custom code from the ERP system and put it on the greenfield S/4HANA system, which is new. Here you provide the material number lengths. We recommend to keep it classic with 18 character lengths. In this case, you will get less findings in your custom code only for the cases where really the material number lengths come into conflict with the new material number lengths of S/4HANA of 40 character lengths. Here you provide the location of the custom code. This is in the remote system, and here you provide the connection to remote system, which is set up via RFC and Cloud Connector. This is this one here. And here in the below area, you can upload usage data, but we will start without uploading usage data just for the case if you don't have the usage data. We'll just delete this project If I press the create button, then the project gets created and ABAP Test Cockpit will start the custom code analysis, will start to execute S4HANA readiness checks. It will take some time. Therefore, I have prepared such project beforehand where the S4HANA custom code analysis was already executed. And you see, for the case, if you don't upload usage data, all the custom code objects in the system are scoped for the S4HANA migration. So the whole custom code objects are here. And you see here the analysis results. You have here the number of the findings. You can just click on the number of the findings and proceed with the analysis results. So here in the below area, you have the table with the findings, with the issues in your custom code. This is actually the same table which you would find also on the ERP system in the SAP GUI transaction ATC. Here you see which check was executed over your custom code object, how the check message looks like, which type of the object was analyzed, the name of the object, the package it comes from, the simplification item category, which simplification node number should be consulted in order to correct the findings, if quick fix is available, and so on and so forth. All the detailed information is provided in this table with the findings. Here in the middle area, you have different filters. You can filter your custom code, for example, according to the corresponding SAP nodes. For example, if I'm interested in only database-specific findings in my custom code, I would just then select this red bar and we'll get only the issues in all custom code objects which are related with the database. Here in the upper area, you have access to different other filters capabilities. Here you have, for example, via this button, access to quick compact filters. If you press this one, then you can very quickly filter the results. For example, if I would like to see the issues only in the dedicated package, I will just pick up this package and choose it, and we'll get the issues only which are in the custom code objects of this package. Or for example, alternatively, if I'm interested in all issues in my custom code which relate to the usage of the certain table, for example, I will select then table here, and on the object name in another filter, I will select then the table name. For example, I'm interested in all accesses to the SAP standard table BCG and all the issues which are have to deal with these accesses. Then I would choose this table name and will get only the findings in the custom code which have to deal with the accesses to the standard table BCG. So in this way, using the compact filters, you can very quickly filter the results. Here you have access to the visual filters. You can use these filters also to filter the results. For example, I would like to know for which findings I don't have the quick fixes in ABAP development tools in Eclipse Minion. I would need, as developer, later on fix all these findings manually. Then I would select just no quick fixes are available and we'll get this reduced findings list. By the way, you can set up your own filters also here. For example, you can select the view and save the view. You can manage the existing views. You can adapt the filters and save the view as you want to have it. Here, for example, under Adapt the Filter, you see which filters are presented on the title bar and on the filter bar, and you can add or remove the filters, and finally you can save it as your own filter view. Here, in the below area, you have access also to the details of the finding. Here, for example, if I click here the details button, the app will navigate me to the details view of the finding, and here you can get the information, which finding is it and where does it occur and how to fix it. And you see here these custom code objects, this program here is causes the problems. And you see here that in the details of the finding, the functionality which is used here in this program is not available, but the functional equivalent should be available. And the problem is where? In accessing the transaction .grp. And here, if I navigate here to the source code, you can do it directly in the browser window. You will see here that here the source code line calls transaction .grp 03, which is definitely not available in S4HANA, and this call must be replaced. So if I go back here, you have here also the corresponding link to the SAP node, which explains you how to fix this finding. Then you would just click on this node and see how this finding can be corrected. So in this way, you have here the access to the details of the finding here, which object type was called and the name of the object, and this must be corrected. Here, if you go back, you have the possibility to download the analysis results. You can do it here. On the export function, you can export it as Excel and download it, or export in the format which is suitable for upload to SAP readiness check. You can use this option in order to give the representative view over your custom code in the system, also in the SAP readiness check. So this is how the app works without usage data. Let's go back to the Discovery Center mission. So we just have taken a look at this column, perform custom code analysis. And the next column is how to proceed if you would like to add usage data. Then you would need to upload the usage data. Either you create the new project or upload the usage data to existing project. And then you will be able to define the initial custom code scope for S4HANA based on the uploaded usage data, and also create the deletion transport for your code. And then, of course, you get also access to the custom code analysis results. So how to do this? If we now go back to the initial view of the project, if you press here the edit button, you can add in this below area, you can add the collected usage data just by pressing add button. You select the system where, of course, the RFC destination and cloud connector must be set up to this system. This is the system S55 where the usage data was collected. And here you can just upload the snapshot of the usage data, which was collected via ABAP call monitor and aggregated directly on the ERP system using SUCG transaction. If you have collected your usage data using Solution Manager, then it's also possible to upload it here. You need to configure your Solution Manager system for the upload so that the app has access to it and can upload the usage data from there. So if I now add the usage data and press the save button, then the app will begin the scoping of the custom code based on the uploaded usage data. But I will discard this draft because it will take a long time. And therefore, I will use just this project, which has also got the usage data uploaded. And as you see here, the difference to the previous one is that the amount of the scoped objects, not all objects were selected for the S4HANA migration based on the fact that the usage, only the objects for which usage data exist were added initially to the scope. And here in the scoping section, now you can continue with the manual adjustment of the scope. By the way, you have here also the graphical representation of the scope, which objects are not in scope via usage data, or which objects are in scope, because for these objects the usage data are available, or which objects are in scope by statistical references if they are referenced by the objects which are already in scope. And here you can just go to the change scope button, and in this area you can manually adjust the initial scope. You may use this change scope function if you, for example, need to remove some objects from the scope, or add the objects to the scope, for example, new developments for which usage data just not exist. And here you can just select the package. Sorry, just mark the package and add package the scope, or remove package the scope. You can also navigate here to the details of the package and do it on the single object level, either add the objects to the scope or remove the objects from the scope. Here, by the way, under the packages view, you have access to this complexity diagram, which I was talking about, which complex custom code developments are there. This is the demo system, but in the actual ERP system, you will get somewhere in the top right corner the complex executables, which you need to take a look at. And you see here the package, which can be taken a look at, which is pretty complex. So after you are ready with the scoping, you can press the button Create Deletion Transport, and this deletion transport will be created on the ERP system directly, and then you can decide how to proceed with this deletion transport. Either you remove it using a software update manager during system conversion, or you keep it on the same system, and after the system conversion, you just connect your new S/4HANA converted system to JCTS, and you can use JCTS to export these objects of the deletion transport to the external Git repository for backup purposes. If at some point of time you will need it, you will need these objects, and you have any time then the possibility to import them again into S/4HANA system from this external Git repository. Now you can also navigate to the analysis results, and you have the same analysis results, but additionally you have this scope information, and you can focus your analysis results on the objects which are in scope for the S/4HANA. So you don't need to take a look at all the custom code objects on the ERP system, but only on the objects which are scoped for S/4HANA migration. This is the main difference if you consider the usage data. So we just have taken a look at this column here, how to add the usage data, how to upload the usage data, define the initial custom code, create deletion transport, and analyze the custom code for S/4HANA again. And finally, you complete your custom code analysis in the way that you can just download the analysis results, for example, to the Excel table or to the format which is suitable for upload to SAP Readiness Check. So this was actually from my side regarding the mission. What I additionally actually wanted to show you how you adapt your custom code for S/4HANA after you have converted your system to S/4HANA. And here, as I already mentioned, the tool of choice is ABAP Development Tools in Eclipse and the quick fixes. And here I'm on the brand new S/4HANA system, and I would like to adapt this package with these objects for S/4HANA. The prerequisite for using the quick fixes is the ABAP test cockpit run. So I need to execute ABAP test cockpit with S/4HANA readiness check variant. And only after execution of this local ABAP test cockpit run in S/4HANA system, it is possible to make use of the quick fixes. So the ABAP test cockpit is running, and is checking the custom code for S/4HANA readiness now. Let's wait a little bit for results. Okay, the results are now presented in the work list here above test cockpit problems view. And you see the issues in the custom code. What you get here is actually the same table which you have seen in the custom code migration app, with the issue in the custom code object, which check was executed, which simplification category, which custom code object was checked, and so on. And here, but with regard to this certain package, which I have just checked. And here you have also for each finding direct access to the details of the analysis results. And here, this yellow bulb signalizes that there are quick fixes available for these findings. So I can just step directly to the source code here and use Control-1 shortcut for the applying of the quick fix. So you see this quick fix suggests to replace the call to VBAC table with the compatibility view. You can do it one by one for the findings for which quick fixes are available, or you can just select the whole list of the findings and apply mass-enabled quick fixes using this recommended quick fixes wizard. So if you use this one, you will see how many findings can be corrected using the quick fixes. You see the finding, in which custom code objects the finding occur, and so on. And now you can just go to the next button, and what you will see here in the wizard, you see how the source code looks like and how the source code would look like after applying the quick fix. So you see here, for example, direct select from the conf table, and conf table is not available in S/4HANA. Instead of this, you need to access CDS view, and there is the corresponding API how to do it. And here you can just take a look at each custom code object, how it looks like. Here, for example, direct accesses to VBAC table, which is not available in S/4HANA. Instead of status fields of the VBAC table were just distributed across different tables, VBAC, LIKP, and so on. And if you agree to the quick fix proposals, you would you would press finish button, and quick fixes get applied at one shot, and the custom code will just be adjusted. And here, if you go back here, if you choose the post-processing step to activate the change objects after applying the quick fixes and recheck them with ATC, then the objects will be corrected, activated, and debug test cockpit will run again and check the code for S/4HANA readiness. So this is how you can just use the quick fixes. Having said that, thank you very much for your attention. I've just finished the presentation and walk through the Discovery Center mission. And now let's see if you have any questions.
Great. To me. Thank you. Thank you so much, Olga. I do see a question in the Q&A portion from Abdul. Can we directly use the ADT check directly instead of using the app if we already know that we are going to keep all the developments under certain package?
Of course, the thing is, the app, the purpose of the app is to check the custom code in the whole system beforehand in order to get understanding which issues you will later on, how many issues you will get later on in the custom code which you need to fix. If you anyway don't want to do this pre-analysis, so to say, then you just take over the code to the S/4HANA system, and you can check via the package locally on the S/4HANA system with the purpose of adaptation. This is also possible.
Okay. I do see a question in the chat from Johan, the Unicode conversion, must this be done
Yes,
beforehand?
yes, yes, of course. This is very good point. The Unicode conversion must be done before you execute custom code analysis.
Okay. If you guys have any additional questions, please do type your question in the chat, or unmute your line and ask your question directly to Olga. So Olga, what's the best way to get started? Just running the mission directly from
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, Doris. The best way to get started is to use this SAP Discovery Center mission, because you will benefit from the also cloud integration automation service, which will do the whole setup via guided workflow for you.
Okay. Are there any other resources that that our participants could find beneficial that may not be found directly in the Discovery Center?
In the Discovery Center mission, in the mission itself, there are also the resources tab. Under additional resources, you get access to all the additional blogs and videos which you can take a look at.
Okay. I don't see any new questions. If there's another question, please do take advantage of the opportunity. Thomas, I see you unmuted yourself.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
I unmuted myself. One question is regarding, so to say, licenses. Yeah. So so what are the options to get this BTP ABAP environment and to use and set up this app? Yeah.
So you can you need the entitlement for SAP BTP ABAP environment. The custom code migration app itself is for free. And for the BTP ABAP environment, you have either you can use CPA Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement credits, or you can pay as you go subscription mode. And you get also access in the Discovery Center. Under you have missions in the Discovery Center, you have also services. And under the services, you get the understanding about BTP ABAP environment, about the costs. I can also quickly, if you have some time, I can also quickly demonstrate how to find it.
And if I have a RISE contract as a customer, for example,
if you have RISE contract, then you have CPI credits within your RISE contract, and you can use them in order to purchase SAP BTP ABAP environment.
Yeah.
And so it works. Let me just show you. If I go here to the home.
And I think I've seen a blog from your side about the quotas, yeah, for the entitlement, the minimum quotas, I think.
Minimum quota should be sufficient. And beyond that, we have the hibernation mode available for SAP BTP ABAP environment. It means you pay for it only if you use it.
Okay.
So you can use it for the custom analysis purpose and then turn it off in order to save costs.
That's
so
great.
Here in the Discovery Center, you can just navigate to SAP BTP ABAP environment service, and under the pricing, you get the information about different models, like I already said, CPA or pay as you go. And by the way, BTP ABAP environment is also part of the free tier, so you can use it as a free tier. And you have here so the description about the costs.
And where can I switch this hibernate mode on?
There is the dedicated blog how to do it. I can just let me just put the link to the blog into the chat. So here in the BTP ABAP environment community, we have
Okay.
I just need here.
So I
Just put it into the chat.
Yeah, thank you.
How to manage the system hibernation.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So if
You
you guys
need access to the landscape portal and just turn it on or turn it off.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Thomas, for your questions. I see Camille, you've unmuted your line. Camille, if you want to ask your question. Okay. We can't hear you. If you have any additional, okay, I see Brian has entered a question in the chat. Does the code migration analysis quick fix tool simply identify and propose changes to syntax issues, or can it also analyze execution paths to better optimize the retrieval of data from various sources and its use to produce the expected results?
It's not only about the syntax issues, it's also because the data model has changed in S4HANA, and the way how to access the data, for example, not anymore from one table, but from various tables and so on. All these logics ways will be also supported via quick fixes. So this is another implementation, so to say, to the data access.
Okay, great. If anybody else has any questions, we do have another 7 or 8 more minutes to answer any questions you guys may have. I have put Olga's contact email address in the chat. So if after the session you guys have another question that pops up, you can reach out to her, or you can reach out to myself as well. And then I can forward your questions to Olga.
Yes.
Okay.
You're also welcome to reach out to me directly.
Yeah. I don't see any other questions, and I don't see anybody unmuting their lines. Thank you so much, Olga, for a great session. We will upload the recording for today's session as well as Olga's PowerPoints to our main hub. You'll be able to find the recording on YouTube. Just give us a little bit of time for us to upload it, render the video, and then upload it. So that takes a little bit of time. Thank you
very
again.
much.
Thanks, Olga. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. I also put the links to all of the other webinars that we're offering. If you're interested, please do either reach out to me or use those links that I've put in the chat for you to register yourselves. And with that, have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're located. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.